vein of form for Northampton. Jim, how good did you have to be this afternoon? Were you surprised about how easy your defence found the Pasty Tax?
Yeah, I think in terms of the first half, we wanted to come down and play. You know, it's not all about just scrumming and mauling. We wanted to play, and I think Ryan Lamb led the side really well. We removed the ball, looked after it. Second half, we tied it up a little bit. We thought defensively we were good enough. They didn't have much shape in that second half, and we knew that if we kept our wingers up, we could defend quite easily with numbers and stop them scoring.
Do your forwards always get the biggest pat on the back after a performance like that?
Well, they've got to. It's where it starts, really, and you need a good platform up front. And I thought scrum again was magnificent. Line-outs, particularly defensive line-outs early on, the first 20 minutes, which stopped them getting into their attacking game.
Tom, how good was that Northampton 8 this afternoon?
As Jim's already alluded to, they set their marker down very early, showed that they were the dominant back in the scrum and in the line-out, but I think it was just the work rate around the pitch, and particularly in defence. The forwards put in an awful lot of those tackles. They were prepared to get up again and again, and North Bath kept throwing players at them. The Northampton players very comfortably dealt with it, with a couple of exceptions at the beginning of the first half, and they earned a lot of their money in defence today.
Let's have a look at that Andy Long try. I think we have it standing by. There we go. And this was, according to our commentary team, Dorian West was the architect of this. Can you not take any credit for it at all, Jim? None at all. No. I mean, it's well rehearsed, I presume. How much of your training time do you spend doing mucky business like this, Jim?
It's every Tuesday, you know, they do that, and attack and defending, and Longy, you know, fantastic, what a great game that he had.
Why Tuesdays?
Tuesdays, oh, it's a grunting day, it's a hard day, it's Tuesdays.
Okay, I'm going to let you go in a minute, Jim, but I've got to ask you, how much of next week is going to be spent being a legal eagle?
Sorry, I couldn't.
How much of next week is going to be spent being a legal eagle for you?
Yeah, I think we'll have to have a look at it. I think, you know, we've got a couple of written statements out now, so we'll have a good look at those. And I think hopefully early next week we'll decide if we're going to take anything further.
Can I ask you a question about those players who have been banned, Dylan Hart and Callum Clark? How do you set about as a club going to try and control players like that who have very fierce competitive fires burning within them?
Well, it's a very good question, and what you do want, you know, all the best players, particularly your forwards, playing on the edge, and you don't want them going over, you want them playing at the very edge, and sometimes our frustration or other things, they do go over. So, you know, we don't want to take it out of them, because if you take that out of them, it takes out the players that they are.
It's a fine line to manage it all. Austin is very excited about Northampton's line speed today, is that? You've got something standing, we can't really hear what's going on.
I mean, Jim said it, Bath didn't really have much about them in the second half, but that was largely down to the line speed of Northampton in defence. And you look at this, it's not a particularly organised defensive line, but watch what happens. It's a good attacking platform here. Bath have got numbers, it's a bad pass, but then look at the line speed, it just keeps pushing and keeps going. Bath had nowhere to go in the second half. They could have played for another 2 days, I don't think they would have scored a try. They pushed them back 15 metres, and that was an example that you could have shown 4 or 5 episodes of. It was just indicative of the Northampton's desire to come here and control Bath, even when they had the ball. And that's what the difference was from when we've seen them in previous weeks, I think.
Tom, luckily I don't think Jim can hear us too clearly, but in the pre-match we were one question mark over Northampton's mental toughness. Did they answer a few of those questions here this afternoon, this evening?
I think so. We did talk about whether the suspensions and bannings would be an issue for the rest of the team, but I think you saw there sort of as a unit, it's clearly a very, very tight group. You know, you can take out key personalities from that, and I actually felt, you know, mentioned by Lee Dixon, I actually thought was superb just in terms of his work rate and his effort throughout the game. That drags the other players along, and you just need to sort of see their response to that brief shaky period at the beginning of the second half where it looked like Bath were coming back, and then it was just a very, very controlled, solid, mature response that looked like it was a team that knew what it had to do, came here to do it, and was very comfortable in it.
And Jim, with the way results have gone so far this weekend, are you having to sort of reset the targets and the fact that you'll probably be playing a semi-final away from home? Because I know at the beginning of the interview of the day you said you still thought top 2 was a possibility.
Well, you always go for top 2, and you've got to be realistic sometimes. Leicester at home, and then we go away to Exeter. So we've got tough games there. I think all we can do is just concentrate, see if we can win all 3 games, and see where we end up.
And those are the remaining fixtures. I mean, do you think that Exeter are in good enough shape, Austin, to catch any of the top 4?
Well, they've got. You'd think that they'd beat Worcester away. Northampton at home. It could go either way that game. Exeter have been playing well. Northampton today showed how strong they are. And then Saracens again. It's going to be difficult for Exeter. I think it's really open. It's going to come from those 5 sides, and running to the end of the season is probably as exciting as it's ever been.
Jim, before I let you go, I promise I will let you go. You've got Leicester at home next. How difficult is it going to be to keep a lid on the emotions ahead of that contest that we're going to be watching too?
I'm saying now it's going to be very easy, but we know the games against Leicester are always highly charged and really exciting games. But we'll go away now. We're going to actually have a week off. It's the first week that the players have had, so they're going to have a week off, and then we'll come back next week and we'll look forward to that challenge.
Okay, Jim, off you go. Thanks very much for joining us. I think I heard 50% of what you were saying. It's been rather noisy here. It always is at Bath. I just think it's the stag weekend mentality and the Pasty Tax. Quickly tell you about the rugby in 2 weeks' time, of course. A doubleheader, Northampton, Leicester, Harlequins, Wasps. We are in the phase of the season where the nails will be bitten. We're looking forward to it. I hope you are too. Bye for now.